Welcome back for another video. I'm Eharbad, a free-to-play endgame player in Raid Shadow Legends. Today is day 11 in the Morrigaine fusion. We're using the daily login, which was 300 energy in fact today, to do Iron Twins. It's Sunday, which means it's Void Day, so I am using 12 keys. This is in fact the 12th key just finishing now. Once that's done, I'm going to go back into Dragon. Got a few more runs to do to get to 2250. Right, with Twins done, we can now turn our attention to Dragon. We've got a few more runs to do. We're at 2100 points. We need to get to 2250. As for Ice Golem, it does drop today, but I won't be doing it just yet. After we finish Dragon, I'm going to return to Campaign with any leftover energy and hopefully finish it today, but it might end up bleeding in tomorrow. The majority of Ice Golem I will do during CVC. We have Ice Golem and Dungeon Divers overlapping with the first day of CVC, so at least I'll get maximum efficiency in terms of energy usage during that time. Otherwise today, once Dragon is done and I've used whatever energy is left over in Campaign, I'm going to spend what little time else I will play the game today doing Tag Team Arena Reset and Hydra. I want to get those done today, well, partly because you have to on Tag Team Arena Reset, but I want to get Hydra done today because, we're going to be busy during the week at work, plus we got CVC on Tuesday, so we only really have today or tomorrow to do Hydra. So it makes sense to get those Hydra keys done today and not have to worry about it during the week. Right, there we go. We have finished Dragon. The points actually haven't updated, but we've got the rare, so we must have done it. Sometimes there's a bit of random lag. Let's see if we click back in. Are we gonna get an update on the points? No, we're not. Who cares? We can move on. Now, also need to win 7 campaign battles, so might as well get on with that. And the reality is, I want to keep leveling the rares for the fusion, which makes perfect sense to me. I also want to keep leveling Theodore. And then lastly, I'll chuck in that new rare we just got. So we need to do 7 of these. That's now done. As for the artifact enhancement quest here, we'll be waiting for the artifact enhancement event to drop in a couple of hours. So we're just going to keep working through the rest of everything else that we've got here. We still need to summon 60 more mystery shards today whilst doing champion training to get the rare there. And in terms of the champion training event itself, we're currently at 3,800 points. We obviously need to get to 5150 to get the rare. And I wouldn't be opposed to going a bit further. It really depends on kind of how we do in terms of our goals. We want to get the epics to 5-star 50. We want to get Theodore to 6-star. Those are going to be my main objectives. And we'll see how close that gets us to either 6,200 or 7,500 points. Obviously, we know we have to get to 5150, but since we want to be able to fuse the legendary during CVC, we also need to finish fusing. We need to finish fusing the 3rd epic and get them ready so that we are able to fuse the 4th epic as soon as we finish Ice Golem and Dungeon Divers as they overlap with CVC. Level up those 2 additional rares to 4-star 40, fuse the final epic, get the epic to 5-star 50, and then fuse the legendary, all during CVC. And since we're planning on doing the majority of Ice Golem on the first day of CVC, we're going to have to do that additional champion training effectively on the second day of CVC. So in the meantime, I'm going to collect all the energy I have, get myself back into campaign, and we'll just keep on working through that. Finish leveling up these champions. We should be able to fuse the 3rd epic today. Once we get the artifact enhancement event drop, we will get the 4th rare here, and we'll be able to fuse the epic and work on leveling him up. So that's kind of going to be the plan. We already have one of the epics at level 48, 5-star. The other one will rank up to 5-star today and start leveling him as well. We don't have a lot of energy to do this with, but we might actually end up having to use some additional energy. We want to make sure that we stay ahead of the curve, and this is kind of the next resource crunch part of the fusion. There's quite a lot we need to get done now at this point. And since we have overlapping of all the events, if we're going to use additional resources, this is the best time to do it. In terms of those resources, I still have the 10 energy refills available to me from Clan Shop. I will likely be dipping into those. In terms of the gems, since we started the fusion, we've actually accrued about 1,000 gems, and that's even with me spending the 150 gems today to do Iron Twins at the same last week. So, in what is 11 days, we've got 1,000 gems in addition to having spent 300 on Iron Twins. So we're doing fine. Like, we don't need to worry about if we end up spending a few gems to get energy, but I would rather use those gems spend on energy, if possible, during CBC. So I'll probably end up using this first. Now, one thing I will add into the video, as I have been asked a number of times in the comments to show my Skullcrown build. Now, I use Skullcrown as my campaign farmer up to Brutal. If I were to run Nightmare, I have either Leoris or Herndig who would be able to do it. But for maximum efficiency, I think Brutal is actually a better place to be. With that in mind, my Skullcrown is built in a stun set. I did that initially to get through Faction Wars, where I was relying on inconsistent RNG with Skullcrown and Burgoth. So back then, I didn't have Miscreated, I didn't have Synacia, obviously didn't have Gaius. There was a number of champions that I've now got within the faction that I didn't have when I first cleared it. So Skullcrown has been in a stun set for me for a very long time. I also use her in the Epic Knight Revenant secret room, and I think there are a couple of other secret rooms that she finds her way into. So having stun set does help in that content, but is not required to make a campaign farmer. In terms of stats, I have gone for the faster version of a campaign farmer, where you look to 2-to-1 the waves. Now in Brutal 12.3, all of the enemies are below 100 speed, except for Lord Caesar in the third wave. Lord Caesar goes at 101 speed. Now, since Skullcrown's A1 doesn't hit extremely hard, I think it's easier to build her above 200 speed. Ensure that you go 2-to-1, and you always have 2 attacks. And with 2 attacks, you'll very comfortably kill the wave. So it's kind of like the A2 on wave 1 will kill because it is a harder hitter and you do get the weaken out. Then you get 2 A1s on round 2, and then back to the A2 on round 3. And that's effectively how my Skullcrown runs Brutal 12.3. It also means that she's fast enough to be viable in other content. So that's why I've chosen the gearing that I have. In terms of the accuracy, it's just about enough to be consistent in the content areas I've mentioned: Faction Wars, Campaign, and the Secret Rooms. And then past that, we're just stacking as much damage as possible. The Hell Hades Optimizer will help you do that. So for this, I would just say if you wanted the stun set, you ask for stun set, 200 speed, 200 accuracy, and then solve for damage. Skills are obviously done. I have now got to a 2-star awakening, but I haven't set a blessing yet. Arguments would probably say Phantom Touch would probably be best, but you could say Cruelty as well. I don't really use her anywhere where I need blessings at the moment, so I'll probably just leave it for the time being, and maybe when I'm trying to optimize a secret room speedrun or something, then we'll select one. And given that, it would probably end up being Cruelty would make the most sense. But like I said, at the moment, I haven't bothered. And then in terms of Masteries, I originally built Skullcrown to be a nuker, viable for Arena. I think I was using her in tag team for a while. and also as kind of the DPS carry for secret rooms. So I did go down Helm Smasher. You don't need Helm Smasher to make a campaign farmer. In fact, I would generally say Helm Smasher should be avoided for campaign farmers. You want consistency rather than burst damage. But you do want Helm Smasher for arena. So, you decide where else you're going to use either Skullcrown or whoever else you're building for campaign farmer and make decisions based on that. Heart of Glory and Ruthless Ambush you do get good value for in a campaign farmer, however. You can see in this case with Skullcrown I was ultimately going to go down and get Retribution, but I never actually finished farming the scrolls and she fell out of favour for me in terms of tag team Nuka before I even finished her Masteries, simply because I just had better options. By the time I actually got a Skullcrown, I was already quite far into the game and I ultimately had better options for Arena Nuka. So we kind of built her up, but I'd already passed the period at which she would have given me maximum value. So as a daily update video goes, I think that pretty much sums it up. We've finished off the Dragon Tournament. We've done Iron Twins. We've used our gems to do more Iron Twins. We're now working our way through campaign. We'll deal with the Artifact Enhancement event once that opens. We're going to plan on getting the 3rd epic fuse today and get as far as we can in leveling the 3 epics to 5-star 50 today. We do have some opportunity to do that tomorrow, particularly if we end up delaying our Ice Golem participation until the first day of CVC. So we could end up doing all of Ice Golem during CVC. It very much depends how far we get today in the champion training. We know we need to do 60 more mysteries to finish Summon Rush, so we'll get that done and we'll do the Artifact Enhancement event, as I mentioned. So I think it's a little bit of an incoherent video. There's not really a single theme for today. It's more about tidying up loose ends, making sure we're progressing in the few events that we need to, and very much delaying our Ice Golem for either tomorrow or once CVC drops. So once again, thanks for watching. Thanks for sticking through this series of videos. And, once the fusion's out the way, we can get back to doing some more niche content, particularly around Tag Team and Hydra. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Your feedback is always welcome. And I'll catch you in the next video. Bye for now.